इंशाअल्लाह मुफ्ती साहब का हफ्तावार दर्स होगा, सब हज़ार से शिरकत करेंगे।
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So we are continuing with the stories of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. And last week we talked about up to the point when Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam took his wife Hajra alayhi salam and his son, infant baby Ismail alayhi salam, and he took both of them to the city of Mecca. And at that time this Mecca wasn't a city, it was just a desert land. There was no water, no people. And Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam dropped off his wife and his son Ismail alayhi salam there, and he started to return back without telling them anything why he was leaving them there. And then we find that when Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam kept on walking and not responding to his wife Hajra alayhi salam, every time she was asking, why are you leaving me here? And Ibrahim alayhi salam continued to stay quiet, would not say anything, as that was the order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you cannot say anything, you cannot talk to her, you cannot respond to her. And finally when she asked Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allahu amaraka bihada, did Allah command you to do this? Did Allah tell you to leave us here? And at that time Ibrahim alayhi salam was allowed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to respond to Hajar alayhi salam, and Ibrahim alayhi salam then said, yes, Allah is the one who commanded me to leave both of you in this desert, in this land, and go away. And at that point we also covered that Hajar alayhi salam made a dua, and this was a special dua, a very powerful dua, and it was the same dua which Ibrahim alayhi salam had recited while he was being thrown into the fire, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected him from that fire. Hajar alayhi salam recited that very same dua, and that was Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Which means Allah is enough for us. Allah is with us, He is enough. Wa ni'mal wakeel, and He is the best helper. So this is a dua that was read by Hajar alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, and many different occasions, many different incidents we find this dua, when it was read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them in that situation, in their difficult situations. So anyways, Ibrahim alayhi salam then left. How did Hajar alayhi salam and her son Ismail alayhi salam live and survive in this desert? We find in the history that Ibrahim alayhi salam left with them some water and some dry fruits like dates and those types of things. And of course, it was just very few, and it eventually finished. When the water and the food finished, and Hajar alayhi salam did not have anything to eat herself, to drink, nothing to drink for herself, and to feed the baby Ismail alayhi salam, she then found a mountain that was nearby, the mountain of Safa. When we go for Hajj and Umrah, we go to Safa and Marwa. So she saw that the nearest mountain to her was Safa, so she climbed that mountain in the hope that she will be able to either find some people that she can go and ask for some help, or she may be able to find some water or something, some sort of help. But she did not find anything. So she got back down, and then she went towards the mountain of Marwa. And as whoever's been for Hajj and Umrah, we know that there's an area in between Safa and Marwa, these two mountains, there's an area where there's green lights. And that is an indication where we have to run. Normally we would be walking from Safa to Marwa, but in that green light area, we have to run. And that is because when Hajar alayhi salam, she was going towards Marwa, that was the very bottom part of the area, and where she was not able to see her son Ismail alayhi salam, who was somewhere at a distance. So the whole time she was keeping an eye on Ismail alayhi salam also, so that no one, the baby is protected, the baby is safe. So the whole time she's able to see, but at that area, she was unable to see Ismail alayhi salam. So this is why she would run faster in that area, so that she can move ahead and see Ismail alayhi salam. Anyway, she did this back and forth, running to Safa, then Marwa, then back to Safa. She did this 7 times. Finally, after 7 running back and forth, she heard a voice, or she heard a voice from somewhere. But she was unable to see anyone. There was no one anywhere, but she heard as if someone was speaking. So she screamed back to that voice and said, "Who are you?" And the voice responded. Of course, we will learn that it was Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. But initially, she did not see anyone. And the voice, Jibreel alayhi salam, then said that, "Don't worry, the help has come to you. And you can come back to your son Ismail alayhi salam." So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then sent Jibreel alayhi salam in that situation. And the hadith mentioned that with his wings, he dug the area, and also with the feet of Ismail alayhi salam, where he was laying on the ground, where his feet were. Because Ismail alayhi salam was moving around out of hunger, and his feet were also scraping the ground, moving the dirt. So Jibreel alayhi salam's wings, as well as the feet of Ismail alayhi salam, together, it was digging, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, or He opened up the earth, and the water started to gush out. One hadith mentions, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the water was coming out so forcefully and in big number, in large quantity, that Hajar alayhi salam started to put some stones around it, so to control the water so it doesn't spread everywhere. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if Hajar alayhi salam did not try to stop that water in that situation, the whole area would become a river. Makkah would become a river, and there would be water everywhere. But Hajar alayhi salam because she tried to stop it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then stopped the water and limited to that area. And this is how Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam were surviving in this desert with water of Zamzam. And Zamzam in Arabic means stop. Zam is two different words which became one word. Zam means stop. And she was kept on saying zam, stop. And she was telling the water to stop. And this is how the name came, Zamzam. And of course we don't have to go into the virtue and the greatness, how blessed this water of Zamzam is. We already know so many different greatness and virtues of this water. And we can understand its greatness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this water to Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam through Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam. They're the one who brought up this water of Zamzam. And in one hadith we also find that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, once he drank this water of Zamzam, because initially the water of Zamzam wasn't being used for some time during the time of Quraysh and during the Jahiliyyah, and it was getting dirty and people used to throw their trash in there too, in this well. And the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he got it cleaned, and the water wasn't as pure, it wasn't really sweet either. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his saliva into that water of Zamzam. So I mean, the water of Zamzam is, we all know, is very blessed. This is why when whoever goes for Hajj, this is one thing that they make sure that they bring back. And whoever is unable to, they're very sad of not bringing Zamzam back. Even nowadays, even our US airports, they know that they expect Zamzam. When they see this, or they say, oh, this is the holy water. So Zamzam is something that everyone brings back, and it's very blessed water. In one hadith we find that Rasulullah says, whoever drinks the water of Zamzam, with whichever intention, that desire of his will be fulfilled. You drink Zamzam for shifa, you drink Zamzam for getting some work done, you drink Zamzam with any desire, any intention, Allah will fulfill that desire of yours. Anyways, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, later on, he comes back to Mecca to visit his son Ismail alayhi salam and his wife Hajar alayhi salam. It was many years later, and at this time when Ibrahim alayhi salam came, Hajar alayhi salam had already passed away. And he asked around where Ismail alayhi salam was, and when he approached one house and he asked, do you know where Ismail alayhi salam is? The woman that opened the door, she said that he's gone out for hunting. He's not home and he's out hunting. So Ibrahim alayhi salam asked, who are you? And she says, I am the wife of Ismail alayhi salam. And then Ibrahim alayhi salam asked another question, that how are you surviving? How are you doing in Mecca, in this desert land? And this wife started complaining that, we are starving, we barely have anything to eat. We only have water. Sometimes we get some food to eat, but normally we are in difficult situation, we are starving. And Ibrahim alayhi salam just listened to the answer, and he said that, when your husband comes back, give her a message, tell her some old person came, and he was saying that convey this message to you, that change the frame of the door, of the house door. And this is all Ibrahim alayhi salam said, and he left. This woman, she did not know who this old man was. Listen to the Quran. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, then he gave this message and he left. Look at this, just imagine for a moment when Ibrahim alayhi salam, he's coming to visit his wife Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, but he finds that Hajar alayhi salam is no more, and Ismail alayhi salam is not there also, and he goes back without meeting anyone. And he was only allowed to visit just for those moments, and he had to return. So he's returning back without meeting anyone. He was unable to meet his wife and his son Ismail alayhi salam, and he returns. When Ismail alayhi salam later on returns back from his hunting, he notices that there was some change, and he realized someone had visited the house. So he asked his wife that, did anyone visit? And she says, yes, there was an old man that came. And he was asking me how we were doing. And I told her that, we're in a difficult situation, we're starving, we don't have anything to eat normally. And then Ismail alayhi salam then said, did he also give another advice? Did he give any message? So the wife says, yes, he told me to convey you the message that change the frame of the the door. And then Ismail alayhi salam then says that, that was my father, the old man, that was my father, and he was unhappy with the answer you gave. So this is why he told me to change the door frame, which was you. He wants me to separate you from my house. So I give you a divorce, I give you talaq, and you can return back. Anyways, this happened. Later, Ismail alayhi salam, sometime later, again married another woman from the same tribe of Jurhum. So this first wife was also from the Qabila, this tribe of Jurhum. Who was this Jurhum? This was a tribe that had moved to Mecca. Initially, when Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam came to this area of Mecca, there was no human being there. And there was no water or nothing. As travelers would pass by, they would stop there and they would move on. Once it happened that a tribe of Jurhum was passing by and they saw some birds flying in an area. So these people, this tribe, they sent some people to go and see, why are there birds flying here? Normally we don't see birds. If there's birds, that means that there must be some water. So when those people went to that area, they found Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam there, and they found the well of Zamzam. So these people came back to this Qabila, this tribe of Jurhum, and they said that yes, there is some water there. There's a well there, and there are two people there. There's a woman and her son is there. So this tribe of Jurhum, this Qabila, this tribe, they came to Hajar alayhi salam, requesting that, can you allow us to stay here with you too? Because we are also looking for a place to reside where there's water, and if there's water, so do you allow us? Can we stay here? And Hajar alayhi salam said, yes, you may stay, but with one condition, that you will not have any ownership of this well of Zamzam. You can drink as much water as you want. You can live here, you can drink the water, but you will not own this well of Zamzam. So of course they agreed. All they wanted was water, so they stayed. So Ismail alayhi salam was married to a woman from this tribe of Jurhum who was living in Mecca. And after this first wife, he remarried another woman that was also from this Qabila, this tribe of Jurhum. Sometime later, Ibrahim alayhi salam returns back to Mecca to again visit his son Ismail alayhi salam. Again, surprisingly, or this is how Allah had planned it, that when he comes back, he does not find Ismail alayhi salam again. So he asked, where is Ismail alayhi salam? And the woman who he asked, she said that he's out hunting again. And Ibrahim alayhi salam asked the same question, that who are you? And she said, I'm his wife. And Ibrahim alayhi salam then asked his next question, how are you doing? How are you surviving? And this woman, this wife, she was very thankful. And some scholars also say that she wasn't really thankful, but she knew that this situation had happened just recently, so she did not want to be stuck in that situation. So she just said, yes, we're doing good, and we have, mashallah, enough to eat and drink. We have no complaints. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was happy, and he said to this wife that, when your husband comes back, give her this message, that keep the door frame the way it is. And when Ismail alayhi salam then later on returns, he notices the difference, and he asks his wife, did someone come? And she says, yes, an old man came, and this is what happened. He asked me, how are we doing? And I said, yes, we're doing good. And he asked me to keep the door frame. And the wife is now happy. Ismail alayhi salam tells her that was my father, and he told me that keep you as my wife. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us in one hadith that at that time, in those days, the food for these people was only water, and number two, meat, lahm. as Ismail alayhi salam would go hunting, and whichever animal he would catch and he would hunt, he would bring that, and this is all they would have to eat, the water and meat. There was no growth, there was no vegetables or anything like those. And this is why Ibrahim alayhi salam made a dua for the people of Mecca at that time. Allahumma barik lahum fi lahmihim wa ma'ihim. Oh Allah, give more barakah to the people of Mecca in their meat and in their water. And this is why Rasulullah says, this is why there isn't any growth there. If there was more food, they would have different types of food. Ibrahim alayhi salam would make the dua of barakah in those different foods also. Anyways, Ibrahim alayhi salam, after giving this dua of barakah, he returns back. Finally, for the third time, he comes back to visit his son Ismail alayhi salam. Remember, the first two times, he was unable to meet his son Ismail alayhi salam. He returned back without visiting, without seeing his son. Third time, he returns back after some time. And when he is returning, at a distance, he sees Ismail alayhi salam making some arrows and bow and arrow. He's working on that. From far away, they see each other. Ibrahim alayhi salam is arriving, and Ismail alayhi salam is working on his bow and arrow. As soon as they see each other, they run to each other and they hug and they greet each other. Now, just for a moment, we can imagine after so many years, probably the first time, because Ismail alayhi salam was a baby, was an infant when he was left in Mecca. And this is the first time Ibrahim alayhi salam is meeting his son Ismail alayhi salam. And they recognize each other, and they went to each other, they hugged each other. When Ibrahim alayhi salam came for this third time, after meeting his son Ismail alayhi salam, he conveyed the message that I'm here mainly to build a Kaaba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent me here, brought me to Mecca to build a Kaaba. And Ismail alayhi salam was ready, and they both then started to build the Kaaba. But the question was, Ibrahim alayhi salam was not given a specific place where to build the Kaaba. Exact spot, exact location was not given to him at that time. So he made a dua and he said, Ya Allah, you told me to build a Kaaba, but where is the exact spot? Because as we know, Kaaba was originally built by the angels. Before Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, it was originally built by the angels. And afterwards, it was built by Adam alayhi salam, and then by Idris alayhi salam. As it was, a time would pass by, and the construction would break, and then different prophets and different times it was rebuilt. After the flood of Nuh alayhi salam, again it was destroyed. And it is mentioned that after the flood of Nuh alayhi salam, the Kaaba wasn't rebuilt again. It was just a hill. It was just an upper area. It was a hill type of area, and people knew that is the Kaaba. There was no construction. After that flood, Ibrahim alayhi salam was the first one to rebuild it again. So Ibrahim alayhi salam did not know the exact spot, so he made a dua, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then sent a cloud. And that was an indication that wherever it's going to give shade, that is where the spot of the location of the Kaaba would be. So wherever there was shade, Ibrahim alayhi salam made some markings, and then he built the Kaaba on that shade area. Some scholars say that it wasn't the cloud that by which he knew the location. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a snake, and it walked around that area, and it would leave a marking on the sand. So the snake was going in circle, and it made a marking in the sand, and that is how Ibrahim alayhi salam knew the location where to build the Kaaba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the construction of the Kaaba in the Quran with a lot of detail. In Surah Baqarah, in the first juz, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلُ. Remember that time when Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam were building the walls of the Kaaba, and they were reciting this dua, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. O our Lord, accept this from us. You are all hearing and all knowing. You know, scholars mention that there is a lesson that we can learn from here. And that is, the lesson that we can learn is that anytime a person is doing anything, whether it be a worldly thing or whether it be an ibadah of something of reward, whichever thing he does, always keep Allah in mind that Allah is watching us and make dua of acceptance. After we perform our salah, we finish our prayer, make dua, Ya Allah, accept this from us. Rabbana taqabbal minna. This is a dua that we should recite at the end of every action that we do. Ya Allah, accept this from us. Whether it was something good, it was a good deed, it was building of the Kaaba, it was commanded by Allah, Allah told him to build it, if he had to do it, but Ya Allah, still accept it from me. Ya Allah, make sure that I did not do it for any other intention, only for your pleasure. Ya Allah, accept it. So this is a dua that we should recite at the end of any good deed that we do. While Ibrahim a.s. and Ismail a.s. are building the Kaaba, and the walls became high, they were unable to reach the upper area to place the stones. They went out to look for something high which they can stand on, like a stool, or something high or a big stone which they can stand on to build the upper part of the wall. They found a stone and they brought that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that stone such that it was a mu'jiza. It was through the power, through the will of Allah, that stone, it became like a lift and it would go up and down as he would need to go up. It would go up. When he would want to come down, it would come down. This is the mu'jiza that Ibrahim a.s. was given, the stone. And this stone is still preserved, as we know, is Maqam Ibrahim, it's called, that stone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved it. And anyone that has gone there would see that there is a glass box, and in that box, in that glass, there is that stone, Maqam Ibrahim, that stone in which Ibrahim a.s. stood on to build the Kaaba. And that is one mu'jiza, that it would go, that stone was going up and down, it was moving. And the second mu'jiza that we see is that the footprint of Ibrahim a.s. was also carved in that stone. Stone is not something it's not like a pillow where it would make your footprint. It's a stone. It's something very strong. Even dirt doesn't make your full. So this is a stone. It's solid. But out of the mu'jiza of Ibrahim alayhi salam, it became such that Ibrahim alayhi salam was standing on it, and it became like a shoe. So it was protection for him from falling. So this was the second mu'jiza. Some scholars are of the opinion that this stone, Maqam Ibrahim, was also a stone sent from Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it down from Jannah, just like Hajar Aswad was sent down from Jannah. But there are both opinions. Some say that they were searching and they found that stone, and some scholars say that no, it was given to them and it was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Jannah. One hadith tells us that this Hajar Aswad, this Maqam Ibrahim, Hajar Aswad, after the completion of the entire Kaaba, the walls are fully built and the construction is fully done, Ibrahim a.s. was told to wait for another stone to be sent to him and place that stone. That will be the completion, that will be the completing mark of the construction of the Kaaba. And that was the stone that Wasalam had brought it. Some ahadith mention that Ibrahim a.s. was told that you need to go and search for that Hajar Aswad around the Kaaba, somewhere in that area. You need to go and search for that. And when Ibrahim a.s. and Ismail a.s. they were walking around looking for that Hajar Aswad, for that stone, there's a mountain there known as Jabal Abi Qubays. It is near the mountain of Safa. It is mentioned in the hadith that the Hajar Aswad was sitting on that mountain, Jabal Abi Qubays. Jabal Abi Qubays. There's the name of that mountain. And the Hajar Aswad was over there. That is where Ibrahim a.s. found it, and he brought it from there and placed it onto the Kaaba. Some narrations also mention that the Hajar Aswad itself made some noise by which Ibrahim a.s. was able to come towards it, and then that's where he found it. And some scholars are also of the opinion that Hajar Aswad was in India at that time, where Adam alayhi salatu wasalam was. So when Adam alayhi salam, when he was living in Hind, in India, and the Hajar al-Aswad was with him, when Ibrahim a.s. is building the Kaaba, it was Jibreel a.s. brought it from there and gave it to Ibrahim a.s. So there's different opinions. After the Kaaba was fully constructed and the completion, it was fully complete, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now told Ibrahim a.s. that announce to the world, announce to all the people of the world to come and perform their Hajj over here in Mecca. Ibrahim a.s. asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how would my announcement, my voice reach the entire world? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that is my responsibility. Your responsibility is just to make the announcement to the world, and I will make sure that the voice reaches. And the hadith mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made His voice reach every human being that was alive at that time. Throughout the world, everyone heard this announcement of Ibrahim alayhi salam, to the extent that the unborn, still in the womb of their mothers, they also heard that voice, the announcement of Ibrahim alayhi salam, of calling everyone for Hajj. And then the hadith mentions that as many times the person responded to the announcement of Ibrahim alayhi salam with labbaik, that is how many times he gets the opportunity to go do his Hajj in his lifetime. Some people at that time, they said it once, some people said it twice, some people said it 50, 60, 70 times. That is as many times as the person said his labbaik, that is how many times Allah allows that person to perform that Hajj. So everyone heard that announcement. Even our ruh heard it while we were not even in the world. Our ruh heard it, and as many times our ruh responded, those are how many times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to go and perform that Hajj. Anyways, this Kaaba, building of the Kaaba was complete. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam was given another test. As we learned from the previous stories of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he went through different hardships, different trials and difficulties throughout his life. From Namrud, from his father, in his own hometown, he was kicked out of his hometown. And then he had to leave his son Ismail alayhi salam as a newborn, leave them in the desert. So different tests he went through. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing him one more time. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنْ. Remember that time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Ibrahim alayhi salam with certain things. And then another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ الَّذِي وَفَّى. Then Ibrahim alayhi salam fulfilled, or he passed his test. He perfected his test. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in the Quran also that the test that I gave him, he also perfected that test, and he was excellent, he was perfect. What was this test? This was the test of sacrificing his son Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. It's a lengthy incident. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam saw a dream. And in that dream, he saw that he was sacrificing his son Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. And as we know, the dreams of Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are wahi, they are revelation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in their dream, gives them the instructions. And this is different from our dreams. When we see dreams, if we are ordered or if we are commanded in our dream to do something, it's not allowed for us to follow it if it is going against the Sharia, if it is going against the deen. But the dreams of Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam were from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if they were told to do anything in the dream, they had to fulfill that command. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam is commanded to sacrifice his son Ismail alayhi salam. And now he knows this is from Allah, he has to do it. So he approaches his son Ismail alayhi salam. And he says, Ya bunayya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, He says, Ya bunayya, O my beloved son. You know, this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that Ibrahim alayhi salam had love. It was not that he did not like his son, so it was easy for him to sacrifice. No, even if someone does not like his son, it's still not easy. But Ibrahim alayhi salam had so much love for his son. Ya bunayya, oh my beloved son, inni ara fil manami, I have seen in my dream that anni adbahuk fanzur madha tara, that I am slaughtering you. Tell me, fanzur madha tara, tell me what is your opinion. What did Ismail alayhi salam respond? قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. He said, oh my beloved father. Ya abati, again, he's showing this love. Ya abati, oh my beloved father, do as you have been commanded to do. If you have been told you're commanded, then go ahead. Why do you need my opinion? No, this Ismail alayhi salam is still a young boy at this time. ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. You will find me, if Allah wills, from those who practice patience, from the sabirin. And now Ibrahim alayhi salam is taking his son Ismail alayhi salam outside of the Mecca, because Mecca was a haram. In there, killing was not allowed. It was a sacred area. This is why when we go for Hajj, when we slaughter the animals, we don't do it in Mecca, we do it in Mina. Mina is out of the area of haram, it's out of the Mecca. That is where we do, outside of Mecca, that is where we do the killing of the animals. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is taking his son Ismail alayhi salam outside of Mecca in the area of Mina. And when they reach there, Ismail alayhi salam says to his father, Ibrahim alayhi salam, that, before you slaughter me, I have two requests. My first request is that if you can lay me down upside down on my stomach so that I can't see you and you can't see me. If I see you, I might see your tears and I might not let you slaughter me. And if you see me, you may not be able to slaughter me. So let's not look at each other. So first request is that, can you lay me down upside down? Second request I have is that after you slaughter me, my clothes, if you can give them to my mother. Pass it on to my mother. And then, as we know, Ibrahim alayhi salam then lays down Ismail alayhi salam upside down. On his Quran speaks about it. He says, Quran says, فَلَمَّا أَسْلَمَا وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينَ, that they both submitted to the command of Allah. They both submitted. Ismail alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi, they both are ready to follow the order. Look at this difficult order. It's not an easy one. It's probably the most difficult thing a person could do. They both submitted, and وَتَلَّهُ لِلْجَبِينَ, and Ibrahim alayhi salam put Ismail alayhi salam down on his forehead, upside down. What happened next? Did Ismail alayhi salam get sacrificed? Did the knife cut his throat? What happened after? Inshallah, we will continue with that part of that story next week. In fact, next week we won't be able to continue. The week after, inshallah, we'll continue. Next week we have scholars from one from South Africa, Hazrat Maulana Ibrahim Pandor. Inshallah, he'll be visiting next Wednesday. He will have a program, and also Maulana Rahmatullah from India. He will also be visiting. So next week, inshallah, we will have their program after Asr, same time on Wednesday. Inshallah, we'll continue with our sessions the week after, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.